He's been in over 60 movies, television shows, projects. He just returned from Romania shooting a mini series. His name is Holt Boggs. He's an incredible actor, and I just got to sit down and visit with him. But first, before we do that, let me tell you about our sponsor. Our sponsor today is Go Gourmet Catering. Are you sick of eating what you have in the house? How about the restaurants that are just around your house? Are you tired of fast food? Then you need to reach out to my friends at Go Gourmet Catering. Of course, they do catering, your next party, your next big event. But right now, they also have non contact food delivery to your house, incredible meals for your family, outstanding values. These are great people. Our kids have played soccer together. They're professional, they have a professional equipment, professional crew, and you're going to love their food. So be sure to check them out. All right, now let's jump in here because I think you're really going to enjoy my visit with Holt Boggs. I know that's what I hear about everybody. Yeah, I'm kind of ready to be away from these people that I'm stuck with all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
So tell me before all this hit. I mean, how were things going on the acting side? As far were you doing auditions? What was happening out there?
Yeah, man, I was doing auditions. I had, what sucked, I had several jobs cancel or push, indefinitely when it happened. I had, I had just gotten back not too long ago. I shot a limited series in Romania called The Pact, and they had just taken that to AFM, and that was starting to do some other stuff over there. I'd gone over there twice last year. I was auditioning a little bit. I just did a little bit on Linklater film Apollo 10 and a half, and then literally 2 weeks later, everything just shut down.
Shut down. So how was it in Romania? Because I was watching you on Facebook while you were doing that. How was Romania?
I loved it. I would have never gone had I not booked work out there. It was never on my places to go ever. And I've got some amazing friends out there now. I spent, collectively several months last year out there shooting two different series. We were shooting on these mountains in Bulgaria, stuff that if I ever looked that cool, I'd be shocked and amazed. But it was just, yeah, man, it was awesome.
And what was the project? What was the movie you were working on?
It's a 5-part limited series called The Pact. It is a kind of a, I don't know if you ever saw the series Lost, but it's a post-apocalyptic, limited series about this deadly virus that has gone and ravaged the world.
Oh, wow. So kind of a timely piece, huh?
Yeah, I didn't realize it at the time. If you'd have told me then, hey, this kind of crap might really happen. Nah, shut up, it's movies. But yeah. So
it looked like it was freezing. You were there in the snow too, right? It was freezing, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was in the snow, and up on this mountain too. We were out in these mountains in Bulgaria, and it was so cold. I had a full beard at the time, but my beard would freeze in the middle of talking. The DP loved it because in the middle of my close-up, I'm talking. There's a dramatic standoff, and my beard would crystallize while I'm talking, and people are like, "Aren't you cold?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm cold, but this is awesome." My Instagram feed's about to go off the hook,
Yeah, it's kind of the stuff you dream of, to be able to travel off a place you haven't been before, exotic destination, and then to also make sure the DP is happy. That's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is, that's it's embarrassment of riches. So definitely.
Yeah. So now you do a lot of products. You write as well too, don't you?
I do. I never really took writing seriously up until semi-recently, I guess.
Right.
I'd gotten to know more writers that were, making a decent living doing what they were doing. And I enjoy writing. I always enjoyed it. First feature I ever did, I co-wrote the director, and it wasn't my best writing. It was my first feature, but I kind of learned what I sucked at and what I didn't, and started writing a lot more. Then, I've got probably, I guess maybe 6 features now that I've written. Haven't done anything with, but I'm searching for a literary agent. And then I wrote and directed in my short film Crazy. Was also I wrote as well. But yeah, I'm starting to look at things in front of you. That makes sense.
You know, it's weird because when you're writing, especially when you first get started, like in your head, it totally makes sense. And then when you
Yeah,
get it shot and then you sit there and you watch it, you're like, oh, okay, that I didn't quite get my message across. So it is
right,
like a learning curve of getting used to how to make sure that what you're thinking really translate on the screen.
right.
It's different for sure. So
Yeah,
how,
and so much, so much can be done. I mean, so much, and you were talking about there's definitely a learning curve. Um, I think that not telling too much where there's so much exposition where you're explaining everything to the audience, but not being too subtle where nobody effing gets it. You know what I mean?
yes. I find that in dialogue. So I'll like somebody will have like, I'm going to get up and get a sandwich. You want one? And the other character's like, you're getting a sandwich? I don't want a sandwich. Okay, well, if you don't want a sandwich, I won't get you a sandwich. Just like, you got to give the
Right,
audience some credit for picking up on some stuff, right? So sometimes I'll see it, and then I'll see other times it's like, oh, you didn't give me enough. I have no idea what's happening there. So,
right.
so when you're writing, what do you feel like your strength? Is your strength story, dialogue? I mean, what's like that part where you're like, yeah, I love this part.
I think you know what I think and I think it's because I'm an actor by trade. Is dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm good at writing characters. I've gotten better with story. Um, for me, if you gave me a story, then I could take that story and do something with it. But prior to semi recently, just to come up with something and be like, all right, there's a guy, then
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
another guy. Okay, there's another guy. Okay, that's
And there's
good.
a
And then it's
horse,
for 3 hours.
and
Yeah, exactly. Then there's maybe another guy. Yeah, this is great. I got three guys.
three guys.
We're
So,
starting off here. No questions. So many questions. But
how long
dialogue is,
ago was Crazy?
I shot it in August.
In
Shot it in,
August.
yeah, shot it in August.
So as far as right now, where is it at, or what is it doing? I know everything's kind of crazy right now.
Yeah,
Have you already
it's.
released it? How you're going to release it, or what are you going to do with it?
I mean, it's a short film. It just premiered at the Mammoth Film Festival. It's a few critics have seen it, which is nice. And I've got probably 20 different festivals that are waiting right now. It's supposed to be screening at the Victoria.
That's good.
That's if that happens. So
Yeah, that's excellent.
just see from there. But yeah.
So that one you wrote.
Mm-hmm.
Did you direct that one as well?
Yeah, I wrote it and directed it.
Yeah, so that was all you. Now was that the first time you did all of it yourself?
Yeah, I'd never directed before. I'd
Okay.
written stuff that I was in. I've obviously been in stuff.
Yes.
I never directed. And yeah, so it was the first one. I also edited it, which a lot of people, for whatever reason, a lot of people are like, "Well, you're editing it too," but yeah, I did that as well. So, but it was my first time directing.
How did it go? How was it that first time directing?
I mean, I was really scared. I wrote Crazy to kind of be idiot-proof for a first-time director.
Right.
It's not my first donkey show. I've worked a bit. I mean, I've got a decent body of work, and I felt like I could direct well. But of course, everybody who makes a piece of crap movie or TV show also thinks that they could direct well. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and I didn't want to be that guy. So, it's a very simple concept with a hook, and but I made it technically, kind of idiot-proof in a way, and focusing just on the story and the characters, which again is something that I felt was my strong suit. So I could focus on what I thought I was good at, and not try to put too many moving pieces in it, hoping that it all worked out well, if that makes sense.
How long is Crazy? What's the runtime on that?
It's just 10 minutes. Yes, it's a short film.
So how long did it take you to shoot it? How many days?
2 days.
2 days. That's pretty good.
It was really self-contained. It's in 2 locations, and like I said, I made it as minimalist as humanly possible.
Right.
It was inspired partially due to, I don't know, have you ever seen Jim Cummings' short film Thunder Road?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's one freaking shot, no cuts.
One continuous shot.
Yeah, and I was so impressed with how simple it was, but how effective it was. You know what I mean? This isn't one shot, but then I also saw the scene from Heat with Michael Mann, Robert De Niro, and Al Pacino in the diner. And I thought they never even cut to a wide. It's just mediums and mediums and mediums, but they were able to tell this compelling about establishing the diner or cutting away to a waitress or any of that stuff. And then so I kind of built off that concept to make it super simple. And then also because I was in it and I couldn't really be on monitor at the exact same time, trying to manage my, I don't know, my damage control, basically.
Sure, yeah. How did you feel directing yourself?
You know, because I had written it, I knew exactly what I wanted out of my character. And then also I got with Brian Villalobos, the guy who plays, a lot ahead of time. So we rehearsed it, and I actually shot the rehearsal so I could kind of see, and I shot it in the angles that I wanted to shoot the film just on my phone.
Right.
So I got to see kind of, okay, I need to amp this up. I need to tone this down, yada, 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 yada. And so when we finally got to set, it was, you know, I felt we kind of had our routine down, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. I've been in just about every movie I've done, usually not on purpose. I remember one is just because the actor didn't show up that day, and I was like, uh-oh, here I go. Right. But it is tough because you're trying to be in the role, but then you're also trying to make sure that everything is moving the way it's supposed to, and trying to communicate what you want to the DP or to whoever's doing the cinematography. So it is it's a very tough thing to do. I think until people do it, they don't realize that you're covering a lot of stuff and trying to get a performance you're proud of at the same time. It can be difficult.
Yeah, because it was character-based too, like that, and it's a weird concept. You know, these two guys are in this bar. It's a mob boss and a hitman, and about these two guys. And that's either going to work really well or it's not going to work at all. You know what I mean? And it was the point that I was trying to make is that my DP and other people in the crew in pre-production didn't get what I was trying to do, and I couldn't really point towards something that was like it. So
right.
It was just like, because it was my first time, I thought, well, yeah, maybe this is just really, really, really effing stupid. You know what I mean? Like, maybe this is garbage. Maybe it's just like an idea that I think I didn't really see anything like it. And so there I am, first time directing, and I have a bunch of people that have already established a certain level of doubt with me. It wasn't until
questioning your sanity, right?
Yeah. It wasn't until like 3/4 of through day one where they go, oh, now I get it. This is awesome. But for the month prior to we're talking about it, so, you know, I'm not on monitor. Those guys don't know what I'm doing. I hope I know what I'm doing. I'm not even seeing what I'm doing. Who's going to call action on this one? You know what I mean? And so it was
who's going to roll?
Incredibly interesting. Yeah.
I love it. You know, it's funny because, like, of course, we've written the horror movies and the throwbacks to 70s drive-in horror movies, but I like really psychological, weird, you know, kind of messed up movies that you're really trying to figure out what is going on, Shutter Island type stuff and all that. And it is funny when people read it, you can tell you're like, yeah, they don't get it at all, you know, and it's rough. That's too funny. And how important acting is, like, I remember we were auditioning people and they would come in and they would read the script and they would do their lines. And I remember halfway through one whole day, I looked at my sister, who's my business partner. I said, I'm the worst writer in the world. This sucks so bad. And then someone came in and read it and I was like, oh no, they got it. But for a while there, I was like, we're not going to make this movie. These lines are horrible.
Right. Yeah.
So how did you audition for that one? So how many characters are in that? I know there was the two of you for sure.
Yeah, the two of us, sure. And I had written this specifically to work with Brian. I'd seen him in some other things, Brian Villalobos. I'd seen him in some other things, and I just put them on a couple other small bits and pieces, and we always talked about trying to work together. So this was a project for he and I. The other pivotal piece was Miss Wallace, who played by Katura Brown. And I'd sent out the tape request and probably saw, I think, 40 different possibilities for her. And and she just killed it. It was great, but it was, you know how the audition process is, and it's painstaking, and I'm an actor and I get it. You know, some people are just like, wow, that's way off. And then some people are like, well, maybe, you know. But Katura came in and killed the role. And so that was,
that's awesome.
And also, too, I got to give a shout out. Like, that's what the kids are saying to my background performers. Those guys. There was a level of performance they needed to do in the background of the second scene in particular, and
Right.
without giving away what the hook of the film is, those guys just like went for it. And you're shooting low budget, not paying a whole lot, and you're having these guys do kind of wackadoodle stuff, and they all like really committed to it. Christopher Winbush, Michael Vincent Bay. I mean, I had an amazing group of people that.
Hold on, can you say, you broke up for just a second? Can you say their names again for us?
Yeah, I've got Christopher Winbush and then Michael Vincent Barry were both great in the background. And then Mary Smith was also there as well. And then I can't remember Garrett's last name. I'm so sorry, Garrett, but Garrett Avery, I think. But yeah, they just did an amazing job and really added to that second scene, which, again, I don't want to give it away, but
right. It is amazing too. I think people understand that whether they're extra or they're just that background movement, how vital they are to the movie and the pieces. And so it's really good when you come across people that are just as focused on giving a good performance, even though they're not saying anything or they're not directly related. So you found some good people then.
Yeah, well, I got super lucky, and I kind of, and I didn't audition them, but I kind of, we didn't just ask for a group of people to show up. I very specifically asked for certain types and looks of people because I wanted it to vary a bit. I looked at them ahead of time and then picked out who I wanted. Yeah, the fact that they all committed on this short film stuff was really cool because they weren't just crossing in the background; they were doing some other stuff as well.
Yeah, they were involved. Yeah.
Yeah, yep. And committed to it for not a lot of money. So it was cool.
So that might have been your directorial debut, but you have been acting a long time. How many movies have you been in? In shows altogether? Do you have any idea?
I don't know, maybe, with in the ballpark of 60, 65-ish maybe?
Yeah, it's a huge number. Is there any that stand out that you were like, okay, there's always ones you love, but was there one that you always stand out that you go to when you tell the story about being on set? Is there one?
Yeah, man, I probably, there's a couple, both good and bad.
There's usually way more of the bad. Those are usually the greatest stories.
Oh my God. The quickest, easiest one, very first film was great because I was producing as well. And your first film, and we wrote it and we're producing it, and it was a band of brothers going. And then so when you finally get the funding through an investor that was gullible enough to give it to you, and you go set your first day, and there's people there you don't even know moving crap around. That's great. Prodigy, love that, and the fact that it got released and went to festivals and on Walmart and stuff. I did a couple movies when I was living in LA. Well, actually, I just moved back here, and I had done a particular director and producer. I'm a kid from the '80s. I did this movie. It's got a crappy name, but it's built on a series of best-selling novels. Actually, it's where I met Todd Jenkins, actually.
Oh, okay. Very good. Love Todd.
Yeah, Todd's great. A movie called Bigfoot Wars.
Yes. Okay. Yes. I think Todd and Billy met on that set, too, if I remember.
Yes, yeah. They met as well, where I met Billy as well. And worst piece of shit moves. Yeah, sorry. Worst movie in the history of bad movies. I was getting to work with Judd Nelson and C. Thomas Howell. I'm like thinking, and then the director was telling me, it's based on a series of best-selling novels, and it had a fan base. Like fans came to the set, and it was a great experience on set. And Tommy are great friends now, and so forth and so on.
And there were some names there, like you just said. It had some people in there. Yeah.
And it's and the big thing is they just screwed the pooch in post, and it's unwatchable. It's garbage. It is horrible. But the thing is, but this on-set experience was, it had a dumb name. But yeah, I thought we were shooting Citizen Kane. And you watch it and go, oh, this is just a really, really, really bad Bigfoot movie.
I got to say, when we talk about making movies and all that, I very seldom do I ever talk about the red carpets and getting to go to the premiere. It's always those goofy on-set stories. That's where I usually go on with everybody. That's where I'm always like, now most of the time, for me, I'm either directing and I don't get to take part in all the fun. I hear what happened on the set after. I'm like, really? That sounds like a good time.
Right.
So what do you got? Of course, you got Crazy, but anything else going on right now when all this is over, you're going to be jumping into? What should we be watching you in?
The series The Pact looks like it's coming to a deal on with a couple streamers. It'll be a 5-episode limited series.
Okay.
So I'm don't know the exact details of when that's going to be, and hopefully we're going to get a season 2 out of it. And I'll go back out east and do some more stuff. Also, to another shorts here just for my own getting stuff out there.
Awesome.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. But that is just because of our weird circumstances. All I know for sure that's in the pipeline right now. So,
yeah.
We'll see.
Well, I still have that one scene that I was hoping you and I could do, because I wanted to do the show where we'd get to act in a scene together and then we'd get to do the interview. And of course, that all is not going to happen for a while. But one of these days, when you're back up around here, we'll come in and we'll do it and do that one for sure. So, well, dude, man, thank you so much for coming on and talking today. Where can we find you? Where should we track you down?
Yeah, at Holt Boggs. My website is holtboggs.com. At Holt Boggs on all my social media. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well, I can't wait for Pact, man. That's going to be awesome.
Cool, man. Thank you so much for the time, Cory.
A big thank you to Holt Boggs for coming on today. What a funny and amazing actor he is. He's got some great projects happening, and I can't wait to see that mini-series. So be sure to go to his website, check him out, start following him. And if you're ready for something different for dinner, check out Go Gourmet Catering. They're sponsoring today's show. Please support those that support us. And let's keep talking about movies.